live. Woo! Just about. Apparently. Oh. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Concordia, Consularis. Got this fuzzy things called hair sticking out. Welcome to the Spiritual and Business Agency of the Fifth World of Peace. My name is Angela Miller, and Harrison has just exited just by a moment. So we're just going to wait for him to come back. Now, what an interesting time we're in. I'm going to go into that in a few minutes, but I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to be keeping you posted via YouTube of the changes that are taking place in the oncoming weeks. We are going to be taking a Spiritual Courts of Equity break until January. Also, really important dates is the Quantum Love Experience. Now, the Quantum Love Experience is beautiful. Hello, Harrison. And this is all about awakening you to your fullest potential. And it's most excellent. Hello, Harrison. Glad to have you back.
Hello.
Hello. I was just talking about the Quantum Love Experience on the 3rd of the 2nd, 2023. This is a key date that we're going to be utilizing so you can upshift yourself to this divine level, consciously divine level of your own experience. It will enhance everything that you do, feel, say, and create and co-create in your own existence. And it's absolutely marvelous. I do work through various levels of your personal technology to bring resolution and harmony with your soul at a much vaster level. And this is beautiful because once you are in this zone, it should be very easy for you to overcome any situation that your experience gives you. It's huge. Also, on the 23rd of March, I'll be running the Indigo Awakening, which is the 23rd of the 3rd, 2023. And this is a specific function that you have as an indigo. You have extremely advanced and enhanced technology. There will be certain issues that have happened to you over time, to your soul, to your being, to your existence, that limits your perceptions, but also it hampers everything that you do here. So we're going to be going into more details of that. And it's going to be a truly remarkable scene. So do book. The links are going to be in the description below, but also they are on the ever decaying Facebook, as I said to you before. So it's really great that we're here today to engage at this pre-solstice time for the experience of you enhancing yourself. Now, hello, Harrison. You're back. Oh, can't hear you, my dear. I hope you can hear me.
Sorry for that. Yes, I can hear you. I was speaking when I was on mute. But I was just saying, I don't know what happened. I just dropped off, but I'm glad I'm now back.
Interesting, after what we've been discussing this morning.
Yeah.
So let's just start, because it is exciting, it is different. So every week when we come to Spiritual Courts of Equity, we will have been shown in realities, in the infinite field of conscious awareness, certain things that help us to let's just say, have background information to the solutions, to what needs to be cleared in consciousness on a week-by-week basis. We tend not to go into a heavy agenda because we allow our intuitions, our technology to do the work for us. So we have no preconceived ideas, concepts, or constructs that affect the neutrality of this work. So, Harrison, we've been discussing, I can't believe how many things just arrive at the time of broadcast. It's just unbelievable. So we were talking about many subjects today, and part of that is the awakening that's going on at the moment. Most people will be undergoing a deep, reflective, internal state of being. Now, on Saturday, and previous to that, there have been some pretty heavy-duty solar flares coming. They will affect everybody on some level or another, and it feels very heavy, or felt very heavy, very like being stuck in treacle, not knowing where to look, and the importance of knowing that is that the only place to look is within. And that it requires you to go really deep into self, into your own nature, beyond your experience, into the heart and the core of your technology in your body. And as you become more aware and realize and make co-creative choices for your being, for your well-being, for your future, you will know exactly what you need to overcome. And it's huge, because if we don't have the parameters for this, then we can be left feeling depressed. We don't want to engage with certain things anymore. But this is the filtering out time for this to take place. So it's really great. I hope that you're all just being at peace with self, forgiving of self, and just being easy on self, but allowing the deepest levels of you to clear and heal. So I just wanted to get that in there. So how are you doing, Harrison?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm just doing wonderful, and given that the solar flares are going on, you know, the dream world, sometimes it becomes wacky, and you have to look at what is being magnified to you. So that's what I have been working on, you know, resolving some of the issues I need to be looking into.
Yeah, and that's very important for that to take place. It really, really is. For everybody, not just us, but how we move forward in our own existence in these times, because everything is changing and we need to adapt ourselves and be mindful of the experiences that are unfolding day by day, minute by minute, second by second. And sometimes it can be rather quick, and sometimes it can be rather overwhelming. But the idea is to come back into self and know self, know journey, know what you can do, but have a fixed point on your own journey to move through these changes, and utilizing all universal energies available, which is currently what is being re-amalgamated, reshifted, reformed in the system construct that is continually trying to foist itself upon your experience. So today, we're going to look at something very specific. We're going to look at something very specific today. So yesterday was the World Cup. I have no time for football, not interested. Generally, I don't even care about it. It's not that I don't know the sport from 3D reality, but it's not my thing. However, this morning we talked about it. Just there we go. That's what we're doing today.
For me,
So, Harrison, do you want to give a bit of background about it? Give some background about what we're doing today.
Okay. For me, I'm a football fan, so I decided to pay attention to what was happening around the World Cup, especially the final that was played yesterday. And from where I was watching the game, it was a nice, beautiful. You could see the emotions that were coming from different people because it was such a very, very tense game. And at the end of it, just putting it out there, the team that I was supporting didn't win on penalties. But at the end of the game, we saw the ceremony that was taking place. It's a custom that happens on each and every sport, especially the World Cup, given the award ceremonies. But something quite different happened where a cloak was given to the best player, who was the captain of the Argentina's team. And when you look at it, the notion that goes there, we are told it's a royal robe that's given to politicians, sheikhs, people of high status, or on special occasions. And this is what was happening. But the person who was giving the captain the robe, if you could pay a little bit of attention, he is a senior official of the Qataris, a kind of system they have there. And I can say he is one of the pieces of the multidimensional being, so the 15. So it begs the question to ask, why give a cloak which has never been done before in any other World Cup? And why was it black with a golden line on top? What does it signify? And that is what we are gonna look into and see what it symbolizes, and what we can expect after that kind of a performance that was done yesterday.
Oh, makes me shudder. Yeah. Oh, so let's just open the spiritual court of equity. And we have here all elders of the planet, of all star systems, Earth. And here we're going to work specifically with the Saudis. Here, I'm just bringing them in. And all Latin Americans.
Yeah, and the Qataris and the Middle Eastern groups,
Exactly. Now there's them. So what's your read on what just stepped into the spiritual court of equity, Harrison?
What I'm perceiving is that they have been waiting for this occasion for quite a long time. And given the kind of energy that was going into this World Cup, there's no way they would have allowed that kind of a situation to go to waste. You need to capitalize on that. And that's why this event was held out there. And this is why one of the team, especially the South American team, was won the game. As here we may think it was free and fair and all that stuff, but if you'd ask other sports analysts, they will have their doubts and comments about the game that was played. But the end result, as I can see right now, this was an occasion they wanted to happen because there was something they wanted to put out into mass consciousness.
Exactly. And what a great way to do it, through football. So it's let's just bring the item forward in the spiritual court, because these robes in the same design are used in Mecca to cover up the magnetic rock that is currently used for religious prayer and worship and activation on earth. It is combined to the magnetic rock at the top of Big Ben, as the time dictates. So this is we're going into an area here that is a bit what I would call grubby. It is grubby. It is. So let's just have a look at the weave here, because what we've got in this cloak of technology is we have the ability to be seen or not. We also have a woven intent into the embroidery of the fabric itself. But let's go a stage further than that as we illuminate it. Because there is a specific function of this overlord technology. And the cloaks have been used for thousands of years, of varying different types, colours, shapes, and for the reasons of spiritual protection, but also spiritual enhancements that are not natural to the way of the individual. And in many, many, many cases over the years of working on people with people who've had dualistic involvements in the past, these cloaks cause a great deal of contamination to the individual technology in light. So now the wearer of the cloak is Argentinian nationality. And that's of no mistake that the whole setup was basically rigged, as it is every 4 years. And it's interesting how the 4-year cycle is used for this process. Fascinating, isn't it? So let's just have a look. What was given to the Argentinian captain by this representative or aspect of the 15? Let's have a look at that first. Now, there is a huge surprise and rumbling going on, as normal when you highlight something, an issue in the spiritual court of equity. Now, we've just hit the jackpot because the giver of it has a screaming and shouting, domineering quality. A quality of ancient evil. And it is literally, you know, what I'm sensing and seeing from a data perspective is this cloak is going to be used to hide certain inputs into South America from these ancient groups. Yeah. And possibly used in agreeance, but also non-agreeance for the people of South America, because this affects Earth on quite a massive level here.
Yeah. What I was getting is that the golden color symbolizes the golden self each and every single person has. And the black, according to our culture, signifies the unknown. So putting the golden self and the unknown in that kind of a mixture, you know, what could else can happen, you know, because the golden self, this is a creative aspect a person has, and it brings out the creativity of a person. And this is what was, yeah, this is what was given, because he is a very, that person who was given the cloak, is a very creative footballer, and is fun to watch. And given this ocean of unknowingness that's out there, and the guy who was giving that person the cloak, signifying he's the master of that unknowingness, you know, just to perpetuating and pushing the system of domination and control further.
Exactly. It's a great bargaining tool to give a prestigious honor to somebody there with that level of technology. So I'm just going to open a separate court here for the individual who is carrying that technology. Messy, is it?
Yeah.
Let's just have a look at his dynamics. What is it about his technology that they pre-selected him for?
The first thing that I'm tempted to say is that in his early days when he was starting his career, he had this strange disease that was preventing him from growing up. But because of his sporting abilities, he was taken by one of the leading clubs, Barcelona, where he was given a treatment that was able to allow him to grow a bit higher than he was at that time.
I see.
And he has this very good soul of charity, giving out his best and doing his best where he can. And given his level of mastery and how he is able to play the game, so many souls are glued to the screen watching him playing. So you can imagine the amount of energy that's projected to him.
Yes.
And he has this ability to maintain his calm and peace in those kind of situations that would be chaotic for other people, and transform and transmute it into this magic or the beauty of the game, where everyone comes into this uniform, and it's like a way of raising the vibration of people, and he does it through the game that he plays. So, and he has friends and foes on equal terms. So, and there was something that he was proving yesterday, that he can do it, like his idol, the Diego Maradona, who.
Oh, I knew he was going to come to it.
Yeah. So this was a huge thing, and that's why
Maradona in.
yeah. And from what I can get, he is a person of character, and he wants to do the good thing, and that's why he went along with what was happening yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, it's an award. So what these groups will do is deliver awards, amulets, promises, all kinds of things that apparently support their inner salvation. But this is a spiritual court of equity, and we look at things in a very different way. So let's just re-examine that cloak, and what we will see there is a mixture and a blend. Oh, this is horrible, as I kept saying before, of it's incredible, this weave of negative and dark alchemy. We also have, now this is not just from this time frame, it's collected a lot of, let's just say, additions that have been added to this technology. But what is interesting is the weave of spell. So, and that glue is literally the focus from the individual to the Messi himself is literally all unprocessed emotion. So it's kind of like a harvesting of energy during an apparent resolution. But has resolution for Saudi and Argentina taken place? And I'm using Saudi as a whole gamut of belief systems, individuals that incarnated into bodies. So let's just have a look at the whole grouping there. And you'll find Saudi, you'll find Qatar, you'll find Oman, Yemen, and any other country that I've missed. You'll probably find Israel in there at some degree, because they're all barking from the same rhetoric. And these are the people that think it's okay to go around killing somebody else's children. It's fine. The levels of elitism here are quite something. There has already been conflicts within their family line in Britain, of which the current King Charles is involved with, and the British government. So it's a whole magical picture. Now, I want the originator of this cloaking technology to step forward into the spiritual court of equity. They are invited. And I'm showing them what is happening here. Now, I'm also back to Messi in the separate spiritual court. I'm going to ask him, is he aware of what has been put on his shoulders?
He isn't.
No. So I'm just showing him what he's had incorporated or added on to his own journey without knowing, under the guise of glory. And how does he feel about that?
I'm getting this mixed emotion of caring and not caring.
Mm.
You know, at one level, he is concerned, but another level, he isn't.
Mm. Yeah.
And and I think this is an attitude that all athletes are required to build, where they have to show concern at some level, but at another level, they have to tune out of what's happening, because he's just a character playing a larger game that's unfolding on each and every single person here on the planet. So
yeah. So I'm just showing him now what the impacts of this are to his culture and his lineages. And it's a very mixed bag over there in Argentina. A mixed bag of lineages that literally escaped there from paperclip back in the day.
Yeah, I'm getting different versions here, because the cloak that was put on him, to other variation and degrees, it's the same cloak that is used by different religious leaders. When you see on top of what they are wearing, they put another cloak And if you could pay attention and see the Pope, he wears a white cloak. If you could look at the Presbyterian churches, they wear a black cloak with either a red caroling or a purple, linen or line that's going in. It's the same technology that was put on top of Messi. So it's kind of a technology that's used to hide the real character of a person who is wearing the cloak. You can see the politicians, how they are and what they do. But the moment they wear this cloak, they tend to pretend that they are the finest people who care about people and assisting and all that stuff. But in reality, the opposite of that.
It's the biggest part of the biggest illusion that is here. This illusion of good under a cloak of darkness, in essence. So these cloaks have been used in various forms throughout the story of Earth. And this didn't, they were originally for warmth. But it's the interaction with these cloaks that are programmed with the human DNA skin suit technology. It does have an effect. So I'm just going to look at Earth here. What are the implications for Earth and Latin America and the Saudi regions from this transaction that took place yesterday? Not to mention the diseases. Because it's a contract. Who contracted Messi? Let's look at that in particular.
It's quite different because I'm getting a picture here, but I'm seeing the color of crude oil, because it's the same color as the cloak that was placed on him. And it was a way of this arm of the 15 announcing it's it's like a demonstration, because another arm has brought up a form of energy that would shatter what crude does. So it was a way of showing to the people. It was a card. It was a move on the chessboard they made. So
yes.
So let's see what's gonna happen.
Well, this part makes me happy. I can't tell you, because there are no benefits here for the mass population. This is just another movement, domination and control. System in position on your journey and your entitlements as a divine being on this earth. But also, I just want to have a look at the damage to Earth, because it's pretty mean. And I'm just going to examine their chessboard. And I'm going to be a right cat, and I'm just going to knock it all down. And I shouldn't be in the spiritual court of equity, but it is part of the deconstruction process. I'm just demonstrating that this is not tolerated on Earth, of what you are intending to do with unconscious inhabitants, but also for Earth, because here in the Latin Americas, there's a different flow, but they've been here before with their negative contracts that assert the natural way of being. So I'm going to ask them to remove their spell forthwith, and that we haven't got all day. How's that being received?
Well, they're just throwing tantrums and saying their hand was forced to make the move because of what was made earlier. But in reality, we both know there are other technologies that are more helpful and advanced that could assist humanity. We don't have to play into these realities they keep on feeding us or what they keep on perpetuating. So we have had enough of these games. You know, it's the highest time they start to allow other beings to play, because I remember what happened, like, for example, in our country, for all years we are being told we don't have oil or crude oil here. And then around 2013, 2014 kind of time period, oil was discovered. And then a few months later, it was said it is the most best oil that there is on a planet, because it requires little input in terms of purifying the oil, and it's the best in terms of usage out there. And then all of a sudden we are told it's not enough, it cannot be used, and people can companies will just go on losses if they invest in drilling those oil fields. But then a few years later, when I was back in the university, I remember one of the lecturers that was teaching us, he had studied the rock structures, and one of the theories that he had is that the rock structures that are in Kenya are linked to the ones that are in Middle East. So there soon, if Kenya would start drilling those oil fields, they would start draining the oil in the Middle Eastern region. I don't know if that's true, but that was what was presented to us at that time. And that's why there was massive hindrances from countries around East Africa, mining this oil. And if you can just zoom out and see each and every single country that's mining oil in Africa, there's war or other kind of instabilities that are happening around there. But when it comes to Middle East, especially these Qataris, Saudis, and the region around that, they are getting the ultimate benefit of mining their oil and selling to the rest of the world. Why can't they allow other players to have the same level playing field if people choose to do that, instead of instigating wars and domination and creating chaos?
So I'm just showing that grouping that they have been rumbled. I'm picking up on other fort defenses in Antarctica here at this point. That this is a preliminary connection for a specific resource supply to those areas. And all the leaders in Latin America, Americas, not the leaders really, the puppets, everybody's being brought in. An organic flow of beings. And I'm just assessing what is being done to deconstruct the cloak at the same time. So what are your perceptions of that cloak? That device, cloaking device?
I don't know, everything is just fuzzy around that cloak,
Yeah, I'm just going to defrag further.
Yeah, it's
taking the energy out of it.
Just looking, and
It's quite interesting, the shoulder and the head part, because there is a cloak aspect there. It's what sits on the shoulders.
Like the one that's being used by the wizards in most movies, you know, they have those hoods.
Oh gosh, you just hit them in the balls, Harrison. Oh my goodness, it seems like it's dark wizard ball hitting morning. Okay, so I'm asking for removal. And all Anglicized Western nations are involved in this little hick of a drama between them all. Huge karma here, huge. They don't care because you're all paying for it.
Yeah, they don't, because they can just transfer it to the next person who is in an awareness. And
absolutely.
And I'm also getting, it's like if this technology that the United States have announced, if it becomes a threat to what they have, they are gonna pull something that's out in unknowingness to counteract that. So that was also a statement they were sending out there.
Yes, and with a focus and emphasis on military security. So this is quite an interesting picture that's formulating here, alongside with the intermediate technology proponents on Earth. But here we have a direct interface here with Earth spirits. Now, one of the things that's been happening over the weekend is that with the events of these intense solar flares, as I spoke about at the beginning, it's really bringing up deep issues within each individual for resolution, but also for Earth as part of her expansion. So this is a little sideboard on their part, on systems part, to scupper the natural expansion of Earth with the superimposition of these star-based technologies. So just bringing in and just ensuring that all the star elders know there and are briefed in what is happening in this court, and that they may take relevant action in their own sectors. And that let's just say the races as above, so below, also know what's being done. And they have an opportunity to put it right. It's a gift.
I don't know what I'm picking, but these guys are just grumpy, pointing fingers like our hand were forced. It was not our will. Our hands are forced, but anyway.
It's just like being in an Egyptian monk arguing. Look, rabble, we've moved on. You are so just so yesterday. Come on. If you can do it. And if they can't do it, we'll do it. And then on their shoulders be their levels to deal with.
Let's see what they are gonna create, because I don't know, it's like if this is played out, it looks like Earth is gonna experience another kind of energy usage, or another source of energy that's gonna challenge the entire system. So let's say they are gonna push themselves out of existence because of these wars they are having, whether they are war of words or technology or whatever they are doing. But in reality, it's gonna crash both of them, and the winners are gonna be the rest of humanity, because it's the highest time we have some better technologies that can be used.
Yeah.
Because of the level
benefit of everybody, not for the benefit of a few. Right. So we've got a few subsections or sub branches of these groups that are releasing their impacts to Earth's internal technology structure. That's good. Let's see it move faster. And I'm just going to bring into this court anyone, I'm going to use this term loosely, anyone that has been behind these structures of domination and control who aren't the 15.
Oh, there's a whole battalion of people out there that they were eating bread crumbs that they were being thrown their way, you know.
Mm-hmm. You know, there's some very advanced beings amongst that lot playing the game.
Yeah, they don't want this. They want a status quo to remain the way it is, because they care more about the money.
Yes.
Than anything, yeah.
So how are they today? Are they fully aware of what's going to happen?
Some of them know about the courts of equity that we have.
Mm-hmm,
others are quite ignorant. They think nothing much is gonna be realized here. And I'm just showing them to our internal auditor, who is here with us in our court, you know, so that they can be evaluated and be shown what they have done.
Yeah. So the ones that are familiar with the spiritual court, I just want to have a quick word with them. Who is behind those people? Got it. Who is behind these multidimensional chess games? The maestra or maestro of them. Got it. Shifty little character.
Yeah.
Especially in the arts.
I don't know, but I'm picking up the smell of folders here.
Yeah. They'll do a deal with anyone, believe me.
Yeah.
They'll deal with anyone.
I don't know why I'm picking the Pleiadians, but anyway, who knows how they are involved in this, deal, whether they are gonna give, whether they wanted to give humanity a better technology, or they want to maintain the status quo. Who knows what they are gonna do. But here on Earth, we have our own statements. Like, we want freedom, we want peace,
Yeah. So I just would like to invite all other Pleiadian subgroup races. Let's have you all in. Some of you are private, some of you aren't. Either way, everyone is going to get a resolution here today, but most importantly, resolution for Earth and her inhabitants. Right. So there are energies that are in process there with that level of resolution. Now the ones behind, the ones behind, the ones behind to the ones behind. How are they going with this removal?
You know, these guys never thought they were gonna be found. It's like I'm seeing like they are the overlords with a big chessboard in front of them, and everything that we do here on the court, they are just moving pieces, you know, on their chessboard to try and counteract what we are doing.
Yeah. Watch it shift. Just going to engage in a process here. A process of, let's just say, recalibration for them. And let's just see what's left behind. Huge time into play here.
Well, some of them don't like losing their power, because what I'm seeing is that they had the ability to move chess, you know, these pawns around the chessboard, but it looks like those pieces are glued to the board itself, and they can't move it the way they thought they could move it previously. So it's like they are locked in and things are changing.
Exactly. And that is what people of now who might watch this realize is that don't be locked in to someone else's idea, projection of growth and development. Right, so we're seeing some significant changes. Tell me what's happening to the chessboards, cloaks, and other pawns in this game. In this game, it's the women and the children that are affected here quite substantially in all of these cultures of rigidity. And we also find these elements of control in the hijab, which we've seen women in Iran discarding, but also being threatened with death as a result. They sacrifice their own regularly.
Yeah.
Very sad for the future generations.
What I'm getting is that the energy that they have already milked from the World Cup, they are gonna use it in such kind of a way that was gonna play in their way, because right now they need massive energy to maintain the war that's happening right now.
Yeah.
And it looks like their banks are running low. So yesterday they got a massive boost, you know, to what they had previously.
Okay, so we're just going to start auditing the accounts because of this mass deception. And what are you seeing of the cloak? What's your interpretation of the current status of the cloak?
I'm just seeing the captain still wearing it on his shoulders, and he is still comfortable having it along. But I'm also getting this feeling of the covert and the overt ways that are being used on people in an awareness to perpetuate some of these systems. And yes, we can do wonders in these courts, but it will require individual inputs by each and every single person to not give energy to some of these systems, or they become aware of what they are doing when they are interacting with these systems?
Okay, so let's just invite there to be present with us is all incarnated souls, just to ensure that they know at a deep inner level, the deepest knowing of all time, of how, what, who, why, and where it's coming from. Now, the process is going to take place where vast levels of terror and shock are going to be removed. If you could observe the initiators or instigators of these games, these interdimensional games,
I'm getting these games were being played previously by the dark and the light, but this system were able to hijack what they were doing, and they were able to add and remove from what was the main purpose of this game. So
yes,
they are just playing the system for them to win. So it has to become an awareness to each and every single person that this game is already rigged, and the more you play thinking that you're gonna win, somebody else has some cards hidden somewhere that they are gonna pull out under the rug, and they're gonna counteract what you do. So you need to come into an awareness where it's not a must you play these games. You are sovereign the way you are. So
so it is an unawareness. So let's just illuminate that story. I've just got a really strong sense that we've done this before. Here we are again. Okay, so just there's a lot of shifting taking place. Now, those that let's just say scoop the benefits of the others' actions, individual bargain hunters, right? And I'm just getting a sense it's all beginning to power down. They know that the Earth does. I'm just going to ask Earth, does Earth permit this on her skin surface technology?
no, she doesn't.
And what active remedy will take place as a result? Because this isn't just about Earth, it's universal.
I don't know, but there's this image that I'm seeing. There's a huge black turtle that's floating in the air, and it's just moving across the sky.
A black what?
Turtle, like I don't know if you have seen this image of a turtle in the waters, but the funny thing, I'm seeing it floating in the air and it's just moving across.
So it's an organism. So it's bioorganisms that are used here, which is interesting because they use these beings to program and move around Earth's frequency in bioorganic form, but also on a vast level as a ship, microships, almost like a mother organism. So a process is going to be initiated where that particular organism is essentially resolved and repatriated, because I don't believe that it is of negative intent. It has just been taken over. Hence the feeding of beliefs into these structures. It sounds really out there, but I've seen this many, 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 many times in sessions over the years. And just if you could observe the status of that while the other changes take place, that will be really great. It's quite interesting how that form attaches itself to people, places, grids, ley lines, spiritual connections at the back of the neck.
Yeah.
It has enhanced seeing and feeling perspectives.
Yeah, because I was seeing it's like something else is coming into this kind of a scene, and it's like fragmenting the statues. It moves across the sky and it's breaking into smaller and small pieces as it moves across.
Yes, so it's shedding, literally shedding those concepts of program belief systems into the area, into unassuming humans with weak auric fields, with weak central cores, who are unconscious, but also it brings annihilation to the individual. It's very pixelated at present. So we're just getting that other mess dealt with. And in form, the universe is almost like it's like a standby for a specific activation to come forward. And that's going to start coming in once that defrag is complete. How does old Cloaky look? I'll never wear a cloak like that again. Not that I ever did.
Yeah, to me, I'm seeing him putting it down, and at the soul level, he already knows what it means and what it symbolizes.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing him putting it down.
Great. So he's rejected the contracts. Great. Yeah. On behalf of his nation. Wonderful. On behalf of this continent.
Yeah, yeah.
And what about these multidimensional chess players or proponents of the game?
It looks like something came into their midst because they were so heavily focused on the chessboard and their moving pieces. But when their ability to move those chess pieces was blocked, it's like they are stunned and they are wondering who has that power to do that. But I'm getting it's Mother Earth being Mother Earth and showing them the middle finger like, hey, I'm in charge of this system and I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. So.
Right. So Big Mama steps into her power.
Yeah. And I I think it's not thinking, it's like a kind of annoyingness I'm perceiving here. They were using some of these cloaking technologies to suppress Mother Earth and to intimidate her to cooperate in this domination and control kind of a system. But the moment some of these systems are crumbling, it's Mother Earth is coming into her own power, and she is able to shuggle off some of these control structure they have placed on her. So it's like this system of domination and control is in a hurry because the system that they are perpetuating, there's no support, spiritual support for it. So they are kind of creating a system that's gonna serve them. So that's why it looks all fuzzy, all foggy.
Yeah.
But in reality, when you get deep and do deep research or look deep into what is happening, deep down there's a system they are grooming and growing to replace what they have, because they know that with the current structure, it's not going to be sustainable.
Right. So what is the status of the entire spiritual court of equity? Because we're just waiting for tipping point.
It's like masses and masses here are here looking at what is happening, because each and every soul is here witnessing for themselves what these cloaking technologies can do. And it's not just a piece of cloth, it's spread over into the technologies people have, into aircraft, into every single thing. And all these systems are being used on humanity in an awareness. And they have already been informed what's happening. And it looks like there's this significant shift, and I'm perceiving a 95%. I'm perceiving a 95% kind of a status of resolution right here.
Right. So what we're going to do is work with Earth here and every living soul on the planet for the solstice energies that will create a tremendous shift in all beings, but also is part of the planet's natural expansion process. Oh, that's strong. And those old groups of Earth are being taken down right now.
I think the overlords at Antarctica are not gonna be happy, but anyway, this is the court.
Yeah.
And to do this, it's doing its work, so there's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah, there's nothing, because Mother Earth is saying literally get back in your pushchair.
Yeah.
Get back in your crash, children. Because she reigns supreme. This is the sentient technology that we coexist with, not control. Just like all the women in their groups are controlled, just how all the women on this planet are controlled by contract for every single aspect of their life. No more.
Yeah.
Right, there's a huge deconstruction about to begin in the next phase of this. So I just want to ensure that's going through. The chess players have stood away, stood down. Just bringing all star elders to assume the responsibility of their cultures for this resolution. Because here I want to add in any one thing, being, group, energy, wherever you're from, you are not allowed or permitted to target Earth, sentience, and her natural expression in any way, shape, or form. Because she is the caregiver of all life here. All manufactured souls are coming in for this purpose to be worked with. It's quite a big program. But we're also asking for the universal's multiversal activation to take place on Earth via the solstice frequency. All target groups I'm going to include into this. And they're used to being dealt with. It's not a new story. Interesting, the levels of draconian queen input here.
They had to have their hands in here.
Yeah, exactly. Oh.
I don't know if they are also, I think they're also behind the drag queens that's happening in United States, you know. These kind of shows they are subjecting kids to anyway.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Get out. With compassion.
Yeah.
Ooh. So what we're dealing with as well is there's mass holograms here as well. It's like, oh, for God's sake, it's never ending. So all holographic replicas that have been inserted into the time weave fabrics.
Yeah, you know, once you look at one thing, you think that's it, and then there's another massive layer out there that unfolds and unravels, and you have to look into that. But thank God, we have enough manpower here in the court to deal with some of these, you know, manipulation and whatever they are doing here. And wow.
A lot of smoke and mirrors here. So when something appears like something, we always have to look beyond, through ourselves, through our own vehicles, skin suit, hyper-tuned facilities within for these purposes. And everybody can do this, but it takes discipline and hard work to do that. It does. It's not easy. I pray it's easy for everybody to have these innate abilities awakened within them during these times, so we get better outcomes for everybody. Right, the star elders are really working it through the lineages here. It's great.
Yeah. And looks like Pleiadians, it's like they are done, you know. The elders have had enough of these subgroups that
God, it's been years since I've been looking at those. God.
You know, it's funny where majority of the people might be polarized to the positive, but there's this section that super negative and it carries a bad name for you throughout the galaxy, you know.
Exactly. And believe me, they've got that bad name. My own personal journey will testify to that. Oh, mercy. Right, so they are dealing with that. There's a settling down process. The games are being dissolved. Now, here is something else that we need to include here, and this is the virtual gaming concept. No surprises that came into it, really.
Yeah. That's one thing they're trying to develop, like, I don't know what.
It's crazy what is being detected out there. You wouldn't believe the amount of light workers that are involved in that one.
Yeah, and as being told, it was discovered in a garage by somebody operating down there, and truth comes years later to know it was one of the military projects that they were doing in their, you know, underground bases. But
the virtual dream, the dream in Earth tech, infiltration of the dream, the natural dream weave.
Yeah. I was getting this movie called Peripheral, where people are able to amass themselves with these kind of VR machines. And it's like their soul enter into a VR body that's created there, or like an avatar that looks like the actual them. And if you hit them, they are gonna feel it. If you fracture them, they are gonna feel it.
Yeah.
And this is what they are creating. And I think it's already there. The technology is already there. It's just that masses haven't agreed to accept this form of reality on themselves. So that's why they are.
They think it's real. That's the problem. People think that the virtual experience via a headset, because they're moving their bodies in accordance with a virtual projection, they think that is a real experience. But I'm going to tell you, it's a false experience. It is not real. It's actually creating the training zone for future transhumanism and all the add-ons that come with that. Isn't reality, folks. Sorry, Generation Z and millennials who might be involved in that. These super kids, come on, think outside of virtual realms. It requires you to go outside and be in nature and interact with nature, not false programs that in effect are changing the way that you are, the way that you think. And sometimes it's not, well, more often than not, it's not for the positive of the individual user, because you become desensitized from reality and interconnection and communication as a living, breathing being. Right, so that element is going down. It's moving quite quickly from what I can see. There's a few spaces in the quantum field there that are being reworked. This is the quantum field of the planet. But also the magnetic inputs in the south. The flow, the magnetic energies at the two poles. Right, that's just lifted. How does that feel?
It feels like everything has settled down and it's calm. And these pieces, it's some of them already know the game is already lost, but others they're gonna still keep on playing and perpetuating these things on every single person to see what's playing out. But at a deeper level, they already know some of these things have already been removed on the planet, and it looks like we are part of that team that's initiating these processes and progress that are being made one step at a time, and removing some of these false imprints and false light projections that are given to the people, broadcasted to the people, and their energy being harvested, and and anybody who wishes to request the energies back, it's gonna come back 10 times fold than what was taken out. So I would urge people to just demand the energies back from what we saw and other things that they are perpetuating, behind the scenes.
Yeah, it is. It's, when you look at the game or the historic games that have been played with a ball between groups of people, I keep being brought back to the codices of the Mexica, the Aztecas, and they had a game that has been set up in many sites. In Babylon, it was, I wish I could remember the name, but it's a multi-dimensional game, and it has squares, and you move your counters. I will remember it at some point. And I don't particularly like this game because it just doesn't feel right, because you're manipulating multiverses and realities with that game. And also the historic imprint. But also from the Aztec codices, there were and this is quite common at megalithic sites, where they have these pitches set out with a tiny little goal in the shape of a ball of a hole. Now, most people, historians, or anthropologists, say that they used a ball to hit with their hip. No, they did not. These balls were representations of the different celestial forms that, in essence, were creating the movement on Earth, anchoring those celestial movements on Earth. And that has been erased pretty much from history, but those who know will know. So these games were used to manipulate the masses, the cosmic will, the cosmic spirit in everybody, by just focusing on the outcomes and intentions from these players. Absolutely fascinating. You will never find a ball because it's a celestial object. And it's the action of the hip hitting is not necessarily hitting with the hip, but it refers to the femur, which is the largest blood producing part of the skeletal structure, deep within the bones of infinite manifestation. So it is a fascinating picture to look at. I want to ensure that the one proponent of dark and light chess games is taken out of action and resolved. That's really important, because there are individuals here that have a massive effect on the way that people live, and the origination point is Spain. So we have a massive influx and influence and connectivity point between these two cultures that we've been addressing today in the spiritual courts of equity, of expansion into a new world, expansion of a new way of being. And I'm just going to say this, that utilizing new age religions, and I'm talking about religions that have been in operation in some form of entrapment of time for the last couple of thousand fraud years. Just making sure that that's out of the picture here and resolved, because we know it's the false story. We know. And everyone that docks in here will also know.
Yeah.
Right, and that's moving quite quickly. Origins, Spain, of course. We know what happened in the golden ages. This vying control is just ridiculous because it means nada. And then they'll kill it, you know, their story has been to just make the ancestors, the original tribes, just lock into where they have been suppressed the most. Right, so let's just observe Earth's transition in these resolution moments. This is really important for every being. Because sticking points at the South Pole are being unhinged, unanchored, released.
I was seeing things like ropes, you know, hanging down there, and
well, it's definitely been hooked from the south. I could feel that. Now you're on the equator, aren't you? Your current location, right?
Yeah.
So, Harrison, we're just going to do something. You know what I'm like. I just, could we just do that? We haven't done that before. That's never been done.
Yeah.
Just do it. Right. So you are anchored firmly on that 0 degrees. Right, I'm just going to ensure that you're calibrated, which we know you are, ready to receive this frequency of transformation. Because actually Kenya has a huge role to play here. Because of the many cultures that reside there or in the vicinity that are linked to the same program.
Yeah.
So are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Right, and what you're going to do is anchor through your earth technology. And you're going to connect to Mount Kenya. And you're just going to anchor the upshift at 0 degrees. And if you can describe what you're feeling and seeing, and intuitively knowing, brilliant.
Just getting this intensive piece because Mount Kenya actually sits on the equator line and it has a snow cap on top. And it's like there's this new energy that's flowing in and it's changing every single person. And this is why so many leaders are interested in these countries because there are so many things that are happening. And of recent, what and this is out there in the news, is that there is this CNN award that's awarded to the most innovative person, and it was awarded to a Kenyan woman who was bringing computers and that kind of technology to children. And you have to ask, why a Kenyan woman and why her? But anyway, we know it's because of these energies that are happening. And they are very powerful beings that are being born around this region. So, and the system is becoming aware of it, but there's nothing they can do about it.
There isn't.
Yeah.
So what feeling for Earth can you feel and observe?
I'm perceiving she is very calm. It's like she is unbothered with what these other players were doing, because they would seem like childish play to her. But on another level, she's quite entangled with what's happening.
Mm.
But from here where I am seeing that, it's like she knows the outcome that we have already done in this court, and it's quite positive. And she's quite happy, relaxed, feeling good, and she's emanating this kind of joy from her to every single of her children that's all over the world, that's willing and ready to receive that energy. So she's quite peaceful. That's what I'm gonna say.
Great. So I will wish everybody a happy solstice. Remember, that is the most important time. Instead of the false days of superimposed religion, and just use this energy in your ancestral lineages.
Yeah.
To heal, to grow together. That's important for all journeys going forward. It's bringing that harmony of unity through the multiverse into the source of all knowingness.
Ah. I don't know, it feels like there's this sense of completion that I'm getting, like everything is done.
That's right.
Yeah.
Happy solstice, folks.
Yeah. And be aware of those solar flares that are happening, you know.
Yeah, take advantage. Certainly sorts out wheat from the wheat from the internal chaff. You know, this is a process of refinement of self that is about to take place. And it might seem difficult, too enormous, but just use the frequency and it's literally like dropping layers. Like, vroom, you're in it, and these layers are falling off. Great.
Yeah. Wow.
Yay. We have spiritual court of equity completion today.
That was wonderful. That's what I'm gonna say.
Excellent. Peace to all beings.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. So thanks, lovely listeners, for joining us on this super special voyage of discovery with the spiritual courts of equity. Thank you for being part of this year's growth and development. Thank you to all those beings that support us, watch us, leave comments. And, you know, it does help our mainstream YouTube channel. We will be making changes next year. It's a slow process, but it has to be right for the oncoming times and future voyages that we will take. Again, I'm going to mention, if you would like a session with myself, please contact me on the link below. If you would like to join an online training or engage in a personal retreat with myself and healing team, that would be absolutely marvelous. You will be catapulted and supported with your own spiritual integration. If you're struggling in those areas, do reach out. Leave a comment if you would like to see other issues come into the spiritual court of equity for resolution. If you are alone in these times and feel overwhelmed, I'll be putting out some other guided journeys to assist you with your individual process in some very strong times. I know that a lot of people struggle this year at this time of year with everything that's been going on, and who might have an idea that they realise what has been going on. So thank you. Once again, you keep a lookout. I'm going to be doing and recording a transhuman series over the next couple of weeks. And we will be back in January, probably around mid-January, for more spiritual courts of equity and more resolutions. And yeah, we shall just keep moving progressively through infinity.
Yeah.
Any
That's
final
wonderful.
words, my dear? Any final words?
I'll just say the peace be with you, and accept what Mother Earth is gifting you.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thanks, Harris. So have a good one, everybody. Enjoy selves. Love self, forgive your family. And keep going. Because it's a long journey, this infinite one. And have fun. Enjoy yourself. That's really important. So thank you very much, everybody, today for joining us on Spiritual Courts of Equity Live. We'll see you in enero.